What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. More Hail Caesar faction reviews here as we move along in the timeline. Today, the Ayyubid Egyptians, which is roughly around the time of Saladin, and covers some of those battles of that time period. So it's an interesting list, and let's jump right in. Cavalry heavy, in the sense that at least half of the army has to be cavalry. You could go 100% if you wanted. Of that cavalry, heavy cavalry has to be half of the cavalry itself. You could take up to half the army as infantry other than skirmishers, but again, really, you could go as much cavalry as you wanted. Infantry are not a requirement. That being said, even though infantry are technically optional, there is a sub-requirement here for those, and that's medium or light infantry archers have to be half or more of the infantry. So it's going to be a list that can definitely throw out a lot of shooting firepower. Let's take a look at that. Divisions, we've seen that pretty typical in a lot of the more recent lists, but here there's some more things going on. So divisions must contain at least 4 units excluding skirmishers and be led by a commander. Infantry and cavalry cannot be mixed in the same division, so just a note there. Except that camel riding cavalry can be mixed with Arab skirmishers armed with either bows or javelins, so a little bit of a tweak there to the normal division breakdown. And here skirmishers can be up to 50% of the infantry per division. And again, half as many skirmisher units as they contain non-skirmisher infantry and or camel riders, to be specific. So let's jump in. There's a fair few things going on with the list. So right off the bat, we have a unique unit here, and that's the dismounted Mamluk heavy infantry with bows. So a couple things. It's 27 points a pop for the unit. Fantastic shooting ability. Has the morale save of a heavy infantry unit, although not quite the fighting stats, with them being more like medium infantry in that regard. So an interesting mix of all things, but I think that shooting firepower definitely makes up for the clash and sustain of 7 that you normally see. Moving on, medium infantry city militia with spears and or javelins. These guys are levy, significantly cheaper than the above unit, of course. No long range and the worst morale save there. We have medium infantry archers, another full-size unit here, although again, kind of disguised in the sense they have the medium morale save, but the light infantry stat line as far as close quarters combat, although again, plenty more long-range firepower, 24 points a pop there, and we can get the discount if we want to make them levies. Then, kind of just continuing on, light infantry archers, same as above, but just more light profiles. 21 points, but then a 3-point discount to go with levy again, so more shooting firepower. So unless you really wanted the medium infantry just for that extra bump in morale and fighting value, you could just stick with the light archers and take those discounts. We then have medium infantry warband Ghazi fanatics. These guys do bring the fight as far as clash goes with a 9, so really high for medium infantry there. Medium morale save, 29 points a pop for the unit, but we get wildfighters and fanatic in combination, which is fantastic there. Then a light infantry warband Egyptian mob, just kind of a, like a little mob, just the 1 unit, so kind of a goofy little thing here, but not going to be super effective. Clash of 6 though, sustain 5, token armor save there with the 6 up, but we do get more wildfighters, but wildfighters in combination with levy, so kind of an interesting mix there. So just fun for the sake of bringing it. Skirmishers with javelins as small units, your typical package of that that we see in pretty much most of the armies, but there's a little bit more to get into. So now we jump over to the cavalry side, and we got a fair few choices here. Heavy cavalry Mamluks with spears and bows. Again, bringing the heavy cavalry profile, 32 points a pop, no special rules. But we do get a 2 for long range there, and then just heavy cavalry Mamluks with bows. So we lose in close combat a little bit there with going down to 8 and 5, still respectable. We maintain the heavy morale save, but we bring the long range up to 3 as well for 1 less point. So it might be good to field a mix of those just to bring more long range firepower. But honestly, the spears and bows combination is, I think, plenty. You pay 1 more point for the unit, you get that heavy cavalry fighting profile, and with so many other long range options in the list, having that 2 for long range is still more than good enough just to get those high-end stats for close combat. We have heavy cavalry Turks, Kurds, or Berbers with spears. So here, just another sort of bog standard heavy cavalry profile, no shooting whatsoever for long range there, and no special rules. Then we have one of our more specialized units, light cavalry Turkomans, with javelins and bows as small units, and they get feigned flight for 21 points, so definitely scoop some of those up. You got some Bedouins with spears and or javelins as small units, again, basically the same as above, minus the special rule and minus any long range, but also significantly cheaper at 17 points. And then finally, a one of light cavalry camel riders with bows fielded as a small unit, just the one of, might as well take them. 18 points, and again, it gives us a little bit more long range there. And then finally, just all in all, backed up by leadership 8. So an interesting list, a lot of potent units, not going crazy on any of the special rules, although we do have a fair bit of wild fighters that we have access to, and even some fanatics and just some colorful units, but definitely a list that can hit hard, but then also just has superlative shooting to soften up the enemies. So another fun one. Let us know, guys, if you've played the Ayyubids and any specific focus that you've taken with the list. Did you go kind of more balanced, or did you focus more on the cavalry aspect? And how much did you try and maximize your shooting with that? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll have more Hail Caesar for you guys very soon.